Apple's WWDC event is happening tomorrow, and I am so excited for all of these new AI features, including Apple Intelligence, which just got leaked. So in this video, I'm gonna share all of my thoughts on all of the latest leaks and rumors for tomorrow's WWDC event, including my thoughts on what's gonna happen with the Mac Studio and the Mac Pro. So let's dig right into it. Now, obviously, a lot of these leaks are coming from Mark Gurman from Bloomberg, who is by far the most reliable source that we have in terms of Apple leaks, which you can see him right here on Twitter. Now, I do want to mention he has been saying for months that the Mac Studio and the Mac Pro are not going to be updated this year, and they're not coming until the middle of 2025 with the new M4 Ultra chip. Now, I have been going against that because I have a hard time believing that Apple's gonna have the M4 Max MacBook Pro released this fall, and they're gonna have the Mac Pro and Mac Studio sitting with the M2 Ultra, which is already slower than the M3 Max MacBook Pro, which I have right here. I can't believe Apple's gonna wait and have it be 2 generations behind. I am gonna share my thoughts at the end of this video, but going into what we are likely to see in terms of software, we have this short little list from Mark Gurman that'll kind of give some teasers for what I'm gonna talk about later on. Of course, we have Apple Intelligence, which is gonna be the official name, which is kind of funny because I'll be talking about the OpenAI partnership in just a second. So it's not really Apple Intelligence because Apple's intelligence so far with Siri has been quite garbage. Looks like we're gonna have emoji tapbacks, scheduled iMessages. Finally, that's been a feature with Android for so long. We're gonna have multi-page customizable control center, which is actually really cool instead of having a bunch of buttons on your control center. Old school retro wallpaper packs on iOS 18 and macOS 15, new health app, AirPods hearing aid details, reminders in calendar. These are just some of the things that are coming, and I am so excited for it. Another cool feature is a dedicated Apple Passwords app, which right now they do have their passwords integrated with Face ID, but it doesn't work like 1Password and LastPass, which kind of has it all in one place, auto-filling, much more secure. It looks like they're gonna have a dedicated app this time instead of just having the passwords built into the settings, which is pretty cool. And for the first time ever, Apple is bringing the calculator app to the iPad. You know what that means? That means Apple is desperate for sales because they have ignored that for so many years. Looks like they're finally trying to make their users happy. So it's gonna be using the same overall interface with round buttons as the iPhone version. So that's gonna be quite nice. Apple is finally listening, which is a big deal in my book. Now, digging into the whole Apple Intelligence thing, we can see that Apple is kind of working off of the AI acronym and just replacing artificial intelligence with Apple, which is kind of funny. And so far, it seems like the first version of Apple Intelligence is gonna be sort of simple, basically allowing you to use your voice to summarize things like summarize messages, voicemails, or doing really nice, rich auto reply suggestions. You'll have cool features like within Safari, being able to summarize web pages, or being able to use the AI to basically intelligently categorize incoming mail or to tidy up your unread inbox. And there's this really cool feature that will use generative AI to power a new emoji creator feature that basically allows you to create new emoji icons that relate to whatever you're typing, which is actually really cool since it can work on the fly. And I feel like this is gonna be, like Quinn from Snazzy Labs said, this is gonna be an exclusive feature for Apple users within iMessage. I think it's gonna be really cool and unique. It's gonna make a lot of the green bubble people pretty jealous. And there's gonna be a really cool new AI-infused photo editing feature, which will work similar to how Google Pixel has their smart eraser. So that's gonna be kind of nice because honestly, I've been kind of jealous of them having that feature. And here he also says that voice memo recordings will be automatically transcribed, which is really cool to be able to just quickly scan and read through instead of just sitting there listening to your entire recording. But the big deal for me is that this will be used on device, or if there's not enough performance or power on your device, then it's gonna refer to the cloud, which is cool that it can automatically switch between both of them. So I think that's a pretty unique way to do it, and I think Apple's gonna do it probably the best out of anybody out there. But the biggest deal to me is that Apple is gonna announce a partnership with OpenAI at WWDC tomorrow, which to me is a massive deal because everybody in the world right now in the tech space knows that OpenAI has by far the best generative AI with ChatGPT, with the new GPT-4o, which is very natural and works incredibly well. So everybody knows that's the best, and Apple is gonna bring that to millions of users across all of your Apple devices. We're literally going from the worst smart voice assistant Siri to the best generative AI that there is with OpenAI. So that's gonna be a really big deal. But not only that, since Apple is gonna have a partnership with OpenAI, that means that we're likely gonna get all of the future OpenAI features on Apple devices since they're already partnering up, which to me is a big deal because of Sora, the text to video feature. So there's just so many things that could be coming to Apple devices because of this partnership. So I'd say it's the most important thing out of all of this. And digging in a little bit into Mark Gurman's article on Bloomberg from May 26th, he made a really good point that Apple is trying to catch up to their competitors like Microsoft, Google, who are doing some really awesome things with AI, but Apple is so far behind. So this partnership with OpenAI is really their only choice to basically jump ahead in front of everybody else. So it's a really big deal. And especially if they can integrate all of this with Siri, it's gonna basically revive the Siri brand and finally get rid of that bad reputation for being terribly slow. Siri will finally be good again, but not because of Apple, but because of OpenAI. Mark Gurman also said that Apple's planning to bring their TV Plus app over to Android for the first time, which is really interesting because they've kept it locked in to Apple devices in terms of iPhones, but that's gonna basically open it up to a whole new market and finally turn their TV Plus streaming service into a mainstream service now that it's getting really, really good. Gurman also mentioned that there are a lot of insiders that are mentioning the new revamp to settings, which is a lot cleaner, a lot more simple, and easier to navigate. So that's gonna be pretty exciting. Now moving on, the interesting thing is that Apple is going to require that you have an iPhone 15 Pro or later, or any Mac or iPad with an M1 chip. So this by itself is gonna get so many people to upgrade that have old devices because they're gonna see all of their friends having these new OpenAI features, but they won't, so they have to upgrade. And likely we're gonna have exclusive features to the new iPhone 16 Pro later this year, as well as M4 Max. And here we have the article talking about the complete overhaul to their entire Mac lineup with the AI-focused M4 chips. This is one reason why I believe basically every single Mac in Apple's lineup will get updated this time around with an M4 family chip. Even the 24-inch iMac that recently got updated with the M3 chip, that's gonna get an update to the M4. It's not gonna skip it because it's gonna be a big deal for people to have these new exclusive AI features. And this is one of the reasons why I really think the M4 Ultra chip should come tomorrow. Even though all of the leaks are going against it, I have a feeling that it should come, or maybe they might tease it and release it later this year, but at least give us something about the M4 Ultra chip. Mark Gurman also said that Xcode is getting a huge AI infusion, basically allowing you to complete code automatically using generative AI instead of having to type things out manually, which is a really cool feature that's gonna help people code things so much quicker. But he does say it's unlikely to release in its full form until next year, so that's likely not coming tomorrow. And why is Apple doing all of this and pushing so hard into AI this year? Well, apparently Apple's Craig Federighi tried out Microsoft's AI coding tool and he was super impressed. So he decided that Apple should push into AI like crazy because it's gonna be the next best thing. And I think with the OpenAI partnership, it actually will be a huge deal to a lot of people, and it's gonna improve the daily life of all of Apple's users. And to finish off, I wanna give my own personal reasons for why I think it doesn't make sense for Apple to wait until the middle of next year to release the Mac Studio and the Mac Pro. Well, what we did see with the new M4 iPad Pro is that Apple finally reversed their strategy of giving the best new chip tech to their iPhone and then bringing it across the line with the M4 chip, because this new M4 chip in the iPad Pro has brand new architecture in terms of the cores and everything else. And for the first time ever, they gave these new N3E cores to the M4 chip before bringing them to the A18 Pro later this year, which to me means that Apple broke their cycle, broke their strategy, and they could very well be open to releasing the Ultra chip first before the iPhone chip. And why would they do this? Well, the issue we have right now is that whenever the new Max chip comes out, like this M3 Max that came out in October, it has new technology like ray tracing that in many ways destroys the older M2 Ultra, which is more expensive in the Mac Studio and the Mac Pro. So there's no real reason to buy those high-end machines instead of just buying this thing, which is faster. So if Apple reversed the strategy and released the Ultra chips first with the newest tech, they would always be the best chips on the market, and you would have to pay more. Apple makes more profit, and then only after that would we see the M4 Max in the laptops like the MacBook Pro, and then eventually the M4 in the MacBook Air right before resetting again with the M5 Ultra. I think that makes by far the most sense. And keep in mind that we did have a report from TrendForce saying that the new Mac Studio would come this year with N3E based chips. So I'm hoping there's a chance it's gonna come tomorrow, but if not, then Apple's on something crazy, man, because they're gonna have such a big gap and such a big difference between the M4 Max later this year and the M2 Ultra high-end desktop Max. So let me know your thoughts and what you are personally hoping for WWDC tomorrow down below. Definitely click subscribe so you don't miss out on our coverage, and check out one of those two right over there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.